Walking on water. I should have known better, and I will take the blame for the near disaster I'm going to tell you about. As a young man, I enjoyed the lake, fishing, swimming, and water skiing. Water skiing was on the agenda this beautiful early summer morning. The temperature had not yet climbed into the uncomfortable zone. It was one of those days that complements the beauty of nature. Yes, it was a good day to be alive. Very few boats were on the water, too early in the day for sunseekers. I had a good feeling this was going to be a day to remember. What happened was not what I had in mind to ensure I would never forget. What I didn't realize was if what happened had not, they would have blended in with all the other days of equal significance. Apparently, it was destined to be another day in the water I would never forget. My wife was seated behind the steering wheel. The boat is in the middle of the lake with no other boats in sight. What could possibly go wrong? She had piloted a boat before, but never from a dead stop, and I just assumed a straight shot in the middle of the lake would be a piece of cake. I gave her some last minute instruction. Now when I get the rope tight between the boat and myself and we are pointed in the same direction, I'll give you the nod. You can then push the fuel lever all the way down. Now whatever you do, keep the boat straight until I get up on top of the water. Not complicated, right? Wrong. I forgot to tell her the front of the boat would jump up out of the water. However, I have to say in defense of my instructions, I did repeat them with great emphasis being put on keep the boat straight. Well, I gave her the nod. She put the pedal to the metal, the front of the boat jumped up into the morning air, and all she could see was the top of a mountain looming over the front of the boat, even though the mountain was probably a quarter of a mile away. I do have to give her one thing though, she's a quick thinker. No way she was going to crash into that mountain. She turned the steering wheel to the left till it hit the bottom. Of course, the boat rolled over onto its side. She fell out of her seat, landing in the floor, and rolled up against the side of the boat. The boat was circling to the left at full throttle. I don't know how many circles it made. That thought was at the bottom of the list. All I could think about was what are my options when I have to do something or get run over. I can now sympathize with a de-winged duck in the middle of a gator pond. I know Jesus walked on water, and I sure would have been grateful to have done that. However, I have to admit, I didn't think to ask for his help. But as he has done so many times in the past, he gave it anyway. The truth is, I couldn't think of anything but the boat and the distance between the two of us. Somewhere in that fiasco, the fuel tank turned over, jerking the fuel line free from the engine. Engines don't run without fuel, and this one was no exception. Ann was okay other than shook up some. I was shook up some myself and thankful to be out of the water for the second time in my life. The first time was when I could have drowned in a rain-swollen creek. I sometimes wonder if angels ever grow weary of rescuing us bumbling human beings. Probably not. I doubt there will ever be a situation they haven't dealt with.